Hi there, it's Chris from Motolegends, the chap in the cap, here today to talk to you about the latest iteration of a jacket from Belstaff that is sometimes known as the Brooklands, sometimes known as the Mojave. It's all incredibly confusing, but over the coming few minutes I'm going to try to clarify the situation somewhat. So this is the latest Brooklands come Mojave jacket. It is a jacket that's been in the Belstaff range forever. It's a classic style, incredibly popular. This is probably the most popular jacket in the range. And I think the reason it is so popular is that it's the kind of jacket you could buy in a fashion shop. You could wear this, you could go around town, you can go to lunch in it, you can do whatever you want in it. It's a very easy casual style. Yet at the same time, it's a proper biking jacket. So probably better than almost any other jacket on the market. This crosses the street, meets the bike, better than anything else. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to talk you through all the features and we will see what it's like as a piece of motorcycle wear. First thing I should say, the name of this jacket, Belstaff are calling it the Brooklands 2.0. Now, I think someone somewhere's made a bit of a mistake with that. That's a name they've used in the past. This should have been called the Brooklands Pro, because the Pro is the set of letters they're using to signify the jackets that have been made according to the latest CE regulations. This is a CE regulated jacket. Now, just so that you know, if you're in a shop or you receive one by mail order, if you bought one over the internet, the way that you can spot this new jacket, there is a label in the back. We're going to show you what that label looks like. It's got a little motorcycle on, it'll have an A symbol. That's the indication that this is the latest generation of jacket. That's behind the inner lining. What they've done, the main difference between this jacket and jackets that have gone before, the previous jacket didn't meet the standards in terms of abrasion resistance. So in the key areas, the areas that we call zone 1, the high risk areas, the prime areas for abrasion resistance on a jacket, they've added a Cordura canvas material. So it just lines the jacket in all the most vulnerable areas. It makes the jacket a little bit safer and stronger, I suppose, than jackets that have gone before. So let's talk through the jacket in terms of styling. If we start up here, we've got the typical buckle belt on the neck that's been part of the Brooklands forever. As you would get in pretty much every Belstaff or Barber, you've got corduroy lining the collar. Here you've got quilted detailing on the shoulders that is also repeated on the elbows. 2 patch pockets here with flaps. Slash pockets with zip coils below. Brass buttons throughout. The bottom button is a rubber button to protect your tank in case it comes close to the paintwork. You've got an adjuster here on the sleeve so that you can open it up, put your glove in. You've got a waterproof cuff there, which is very handy, but you can open this up, put your cuff in, and then tighten it on either the first or the second popper. You've got a belt adjuster here with a little cover. Again, I suppose the feeling is that the danger is that that could well damage your tank. In terms of warmth, I'm going to talk about the waterproof membrane in a second in a little bit more detail, but it comes with a 150-gram thermal gilet. So not in the sleeves, but just in the body. So you take that out. This is a great jacket for wearing in the summer. Put it back in and it's more suitable for winter riding. So I think that's pretty much the details. You do here actually just one little thing. Aids this being a waterproof jacket, a properly waterproof jacket. You've got a full waterproof placket here with a channel that if water gets in here, it's going to run down the jacket. So you might say that one of the weak points of a jacket like this from a waterproofing perspective is it's a big old-fashioned brass zip. They have to have an old-fashioned brass zip because that's the look of the jacket. It just wouldn't look right with a modern waterproof zip. But actually, with this placket, that's going to stop rain getting in. And I've got to say, this jacket is pretty darned waterproof. Now, here at Motolegends, we often talk about the difference between drop liner and laminated jackets. A drop liner jacket, how 95% of jackets are made, you've got an outer material for protection, for abrasion resistance, and the waterproof membrane hangs down. In extremis, the problem with a drop liner construction is that if you're in the rain for a long time, so if you're out in the rain for 3, 4, 5 hours, you're riding fairly fast, the rain is fairly heavy, water can come into that outer layer and it can just make the jacket feel very wet, can feel very heavy as you're riding along. All that water surrounding your body can make you feel rather cold. It only happens in extreme conditions, but it is the weakness of a drop liner jacket. More expensive technical jackets have what we call a laminated membrane, where you take the membrane, you bond or heat seal it to the outer fabric, water can't get in, they tend to stay drier, and they dry out after you're down the bike much faster. Now, this is absolutely a drop liner jacket, but the fact that the cotton is waxed means that this performs to a much higher level than most drop liner jackets. Every drop liner jacket will have a durable water repellent, a kind of coating that helps the water pool when it first lands on it, but this is much better than that because the wax stops, it's a barrier to the water entering the jacket. So even though this is a piece that you might say is not particularly technical, it's a casual jacket, it's fashion meets biking, it actually performs pretty darn well as a waterproof garment. So this is a jacket that you could, in extremis, I wouldn't undertake a long commute in it, but you could do a proper riding in this jacket. In terms of protection, I've mentioned the cotton Cordura panels that make this more abrasion resistant than previous versions of the jacket, but it also comes as standard with D30 armour in the elbows and the shoulders. There's a pocket for a back protector. So again, it indicates that this is a proper jacket you can wear for proper biking. A couple of other points. We have sometimes been critical of this jacket. Just a couple of minor detail points that we've asked Belstaff to address. They haven't done yet, but I'm hoping that they will perhaps in future iterations. If there's a weakness with this jacket, it sits quite short. It sits at a length that's right for walking around the shops, for walking around town. But the problem is if you sit on a bike and lean forward in any way, if you're wearing a jean that might have a lower rise, then this creates a gap. That means that you're going to get cold. If it rains, water's going to get in. We don't think this is perfect as a biking jacket in that respect. And it's a shame because it's a jacket that a lot of people want, but they come and see us here in the shop, they put it on, they put their jeans on, we sit on the bike here, and you can immediately see that there's a half-inch gap, or it might just touch the belt line, but it's not going to work on the bike. It's going to make you cold, and in extremis, it can make you wet. The other thing that we would, I have to say, change is this buckle adjuster. I know it looks very retro, but to tell the truth, it's a pain in the neck. We would far prefer to have this cut off and a little button there. This just gets in the way. Yes, it could scratch the bike, but it's just not performing much of a purpose. Now, Belstaff has recently come back into British hands. It was originally a Stoke-on-Trent based company, but about 25 years ago it was sold to the Italian importer. It's been through various hands since then. It has now recently, last year, 2019, come back into British hands. One of the first things that they did, because the owner had a jacket and was distraught by the sizing, they changed the sizing matrix. So the sizes were always tiny. Someone like me, and svelte and slim, I would be taking an XL or a 2XL. I will now take a large or an XL. So they have changed the sizing. So if you are looking at buying one of these jackets, you cannot base it on the size you've had in the past. In terms of sizing, comes in from sizes small up to 4XL in the green and the brown. Now this is the green, that's the brown over there. Behind me is the black. In black, it also goes up to 6L. So if you are a little bit more portly, you're going to want to have the black color. One thing I would say is that the black, the brown and the green, once you've worn them for a year or so, once they've had a bit of wear, once they've got a bit of shine on, honestly, you can't tell the difference between the colors. So the colors are all pretty subtle, but after a while, they all become the same. So that's it. That's the Belstaff Mojave, Brooklands 2.0 Pro, whatever you want to call it, but this is the latest version. It's the best version, it's the one to have, and if you want to look as stylish as you possibly can be on a bike, then this is the jacket you want. It is priced at £525. You can buy waxed cotton jackets for much less than that. We've got jackets here even that are £200–300. But the fact is, they're not Belstaff's. This is the one to have. So that was the Belstaff Mojave come Brooklands jacket. Fantastic jacket, works really well on the bike, works really well on the street as well. If you would like to know more about the jacket, you can visit the website www.motolegends.com. If you want to do so now, you can go direct to the relevant page on the website by clicking on the button top right. If you would like ongoing to receive bulletins from us about new products as they become available, then you can also do that on the website. There's a piece of script at the top of the page called Newsletter Sign Up. Click on there, it takes a couple of seconds. In future, you will get all of our email bulletins. If you would prefer to get information about new products via videographically rather than via email, then you can subscribe by going to the button just below this visual. We are, of course, also a shop. We're in Surrey, based just on the edges of Guildford. The shop is fairly small, but with a warehouse that backs onto the shop that has more than £2 million worth of gear, we are technically the second largest shop in the UK, so we have plenty of stock. We're also by far and away the largest stockist of Belstaff in the UK. So obviously we can't guarantee that we'll always have every colourway in every size, in every style, but you probably stand more chance of finding the jacket that's right for you here than you do anywhere else in the country. Anyway, this has been Chris, Motolegends. Talk to you soon.